A very wealthy doctor bought a $5,000 parrot, a talking bird, and sent the bird to his mother who lived in Mississippi. He had gone to Harvard, had acquired great education, and became a very successful and wealthy doctor. So saw this bird, and he just bought it, $5,000, and he sent it to his mother. The bird could speak 9 languages. He never heard from his mother, and so when Christmas came, he called his mother and asked her if she got the gift that he sent her, and she said, "You mean the bird?" Said, "Yeah, son, I cooked him the other day, and he was kind of small to go around." He said, "Mama, you cooked a $5,000 bird that could speak 9 languages?" She said, "Well, he should have said something." That's humorous. But we're here tonight because somebody got to say something. We have decided not to just let people say something in Sanford or in New York or Chicago or Atlanta, but we are going to say something right here in Valdosta and now. Let me simply begin. Not since 1955 and the murder of Emmett Bobo Till in Money, Mississippi, have I seen a nation galvanized and rally to demand justice for one young black man. Let me share it with you. In 1955, in August, Emmett Bobo Till, 14 years old, from Chicago, Illinois, was visiting with his uncle in Money, Mississippi, when he and some of his cousins went to a country store, and he had in his wallet a picture of a white girl. He was from Chicago and didn't understand the ways of Mississippi. That's right. And so he went in the store, and when he came out, he was showing the picture of this white girl to his friends and his cousins. And they said, you better put that up. Well, he was from Chicago. And somebody challenged him, said, "I bet you won't go in there and say anything to that white woman." And so he went back in, and he did what they called in those days wolf whistled at her. Now some of y'all may not be, but 2 or 3 of y'all look like y'all old enough to remember that. And so he did and came out of the store. And when his cousins found out what he had done, they said, "We better get out of here." And they went on home. The woman's name was Mrs. Bryant. She told her husband that this black boy had become managed with her. So at 2 o'clock in the morning, he and someone else, a cousin, went to the home of Mr. Mose. He was called Uncle Mose, as he was referred to by these young men, and asked if there was a boy there from Chicago. And Uncle Mose said, "Yes, sir." Uncle Mose was about 91 years old. And so he thought that they would just talk to him and scare him. It was 2 of them. They went in and grabbed him from under the bed, and they took him to an isolated house, had a black man to beat him. Then they took him to the Tallahatchie River and talked to him, but he wasn't afraid of them and would never act like he was afraid in spite of the beating. And so they shot him above his right ear, and they dumped his body with a 200-pound gin fan tied around his neck into the Tallahatchie River. It was 3 days later before his body was found. Now it gets interesting. Unlike the Trevon Martin case, these two white men were arrested. They were put on trial. They were acquitted. But even though they were acquitted, just a few weeks later, they gave the story of what had happened to Look magazine for $4,000. They told them how they killed him and why they killed him. And of course, because he had already been tried, that was the end of that. They had already been tried, that was the end of that. Let me rush through this, I see it's about to rain. So, she demanded that, his mother demanded that the casket remain open. And those of us who saw it, remember how that galvanized this whole nation. But not since then have I seen the kind of interest in one single case as I have this one, and I'm sure you would agree. Let's look at Trayvon. Here's a young man, 17 years old, on his way back to this gated community. A man, 28 years old, white man named Zimmerman, George Zimmerman. He sees him. He calls 911 and tells them about this young man that's acting suspicious. Why is he acting suspicious? One of y'all come up here right quick. Acting suspicious with a hood on. Come on. Acting suspicious. He was wearing what they call a hoodie. He had in his hand some kettles. Skittles. 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 Some Skittles. And iced tea.
All right.
That's all he had. Skittles, iced tea, and a hoodie. He was suspicious. Well, he called 911 and said that he had this suspicious character, and they said, do you see him? He said, yes. He was in his truck. They told him to stay in the truck. Don't pursue him. In spite of that, he got out of the truck, followed the young man. He looks around, sees this stranger that he does not know following him. He was upset, frightened, and so he talked to his girlfriend on the phone, who told him to run, get away from him. As he flees from him, this guy follows him, and then of course he shoots him. He's dead. 3 days, for 3 days, his family didn't know where it was. The police never contacted them. They never took a look at the phone to check the telephone numbers that were in his phone. None of that happened. And let me tell you about the Florida law. It says that if you can carry a gun and you have the right only if you just feel like or think your life is threatened. If you have some reasonable cause to believe that your life is being threatened, you can shoot somebody. Now what does that mean? It means that if you and I are out here in the alley and we get into a scuffle, I can kill you. If nobody else sees it, all I have to say is, well, I was acting in self-defense, and there's nobody to say that I wasn't.
All right.
You know how many people they have charged or accused of using that law in Florida alone? 33. And none of them have been prosecuted. None. And I submit to you that if it had not been for his girlfriend's telephone call, if it had not been for the call that he made to 911, we would never have heard anything about this case. And nothing would have been done about it. I'm going to turn the microphone over to Lee, and she's going to talk about a similar case. Here's somewhat different, but similar. But before I do that, let me tell you about one other thing. There's a very popular disc jockey, Juan Gotti. We knew him in the church circle as Stefan. And Stefan Edgerton was shot dead, once in the head, twice in the body, as he was leaving work. He identified his assailant as a white man.
That's right.
Now, We haven't heard anything about the results of that yet. So we are offering a reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the person or persons responsible for his death. But let me tell you, I said at Stefan's wake that night, unless there is some community pressure, because his assailant was identified as a white man and Stefan was a black man, nothing is going to happen. Why do I say that? It happens all the time.